drive-in picture shows, kissing long and loving slow.
They once called her the sweetest woman in country music, the one who never said a bad word about anyone. But that was the image Hollywood sold to the public. Behind the glitter and the kindness, Dolly Parton quietly kept a list. 6 names that hurt her so deeply she never truly forgave them. Some were friends, some were legends, and one of them was a man she once called the love of her musical life. Now at 79, Dolly is finally breaking her silence, and what she reveals is enough to leave anyone stunned. The first name on that list is Porter Wagoner, the mentor who eventually became her greatest heartbreak. Before Dolly Parton became a legend, there was one man who believed in her when few others did: Porter Wagoner. In 1967, he invited the young 21-year-old singer onto the Porter Wagoner Show, introducing her to a national audience and helping launch her career. Together, they recorded hit songs, toured across the country, and appeared to the public as the perfect musical partnership. But behind the scenes, the harmony was beginning to crack. Porter wanted control over the music, the money, and even Dolly's image, while Dolly longed for independence. He was very controlling, she later admitted. He didn't want me to go, but I had to. In 1974, Dolly finally made the painful decision to tell Porter Wagoner that she was leaving the show to pursue a solo career. Porter Wagoner took Dolly's decision deeply personally. 5 years after she left, he struck back with a shocking $3 million lawsuit, accusing her of breaking their contract and claiming she owed him a share of her future earnings. The move stunned Dolly. "He helped me so much," she later said, "and then he sued me." Rather than turning the conflict into a public battle, Dolly chose to settle the case privately. For her, the real pain wasn't about the money, it was emotional. The song "I Will Always Love You" became her quiet farewell to Porter, a goodbye filled with gratitude, but also with finality. She once described it as a love letter to him, yet it was also her declaration that she needed to stand on her own. Years later, time softened the bitterness. Before Porter Wagoner passed away in 2007, the two finally reconciled. Dolly even helped pay some of his hospital bills and later spoke at his funeral, but the experience had already shaped her view of trust and loyalty in the music business. That painful lawsuit taught her how high the cost of independence could be. Number 2. Whitney Houston, the voice that overshadowed her. When The Bodyguard premiered in 1992, Whitney Houston's version of "I Will Always Love You" instantly took the world by storm. The song sold more than 20 million copies and quickly became one of the most recognizable recordings in music history. Yet many people had no idea the song had been written by Dolly Parton. For months, interviewers and fans credited Whitney as the original artist. Dolly, as always, handled the moment with quiet grace. She didn't correct them. She simply smiled. But behind that smile was a complicated mix of emotions: pride, admiration, and a small lingering ache. "I cried when I first heard it," Dolly once told CMT. "But not because of the money, because it was so beautifully done." Those words became her shield. Still, close friends later revealed that Dolly privately struggled with the feeling of being erased from the very song she had created. The same song that once represented her independence now seemed to belong to another voice in the eyes of the world. Yet Dolly had never sold the rights. When the royalty checks began arriving, reportedly worth millions, she invested the money into a Nashville strip mall, joking with her usual humor, "That's the house that Whitney Houston built." Yet beneath Dolly's humor was a deeper truth. Whitney Houston's enormous success forever changed how the world saw "I Will Always Love You." Even today, many younger fans assume the song belongs entirely to Whitney. When Whitney passed away in 2012, Dolly spoke with quiet emotion, saying, "I will always have a piece of her in that song." There was no bitterness in her voice, only a mix of grief and quiet pride, because even though another voice carried the song to global fame, the words were still hers. The two women never had a public conflict, but the shadow of that moment always lingered, a reminder that even admiration can sting when it overshadows your own light. Number 3. Elvis Presley, the king she once turned down. Few moments in music history are as shocking as the time Dolly Parton said no to Elvis Presley. In 1974, Elvis wanted to record her heartbreaking ballad, "I Will Always Love You," the song she wrote after her painful split from her mentor Porter Wagoner. When Elvis's manager, Colonel Tom Parker, called to share the news, Dolly was thrilled. But that excitement quickly faded when he revealed one important condition: Elvis would only record the song if he received 50% of the publishing rights. For Dolly, that was something she simply could not agree to. Years later, she recalled telling them, "I'm sorry, but I can't give you the publishing. This is the most important copyright in my entire catalog." The decision was incredibly difficult. Turning down Elvis Presley meant losing the chance to have the king of rock and roll sing her song, but that refusal also protected her ownership and her independence. When the call ended, Dolly later admitted that she cried all night. Dolly Parton always admired Elvis Presley. She loved his charisma, his presence, and the power of his voice. But despite that admiration, she understood the trap behind the offer. Colonel Tom Parker had done the same thing to many other songwriters, and Dolly refused to become another one who lost control of her song. Even so, the decision left a painful mark. Dolly later admitted she believed Elvis never truly forgave her for turning him down, yet time eventually proved her courage right. Number 4. Linda Ronstadt, the perfectionist who drove her crazy. When Dolly Parton joined forces with Linda Ronstadt and Emmylou Harris to form the Trio in 1987, fans expected nothing but flawless harmony. And musically, that's what they created. But inside the recording studio, their different working styles sometimes clashed. Dolly thrived on spontaneity, 2 takes, raw emotion, and the song was done. Linda, on the other hand, chased absolute perfection, rehearsing a single phrase again and again until it felt just right. Dolly later joked about it with a laugh. "She works slow, so slow it drives me crazy." Behind Dolly's laughter about those studio sessions with Linda Ronstadt was a real sense of frustration. Trio became a huge critical success, but the process pushed everyone's patience to the limit. Years later, Linda openly described Dolly as flaky and unreliable during the recordings, words that reportedly cut deeper than many people realized. The tension only grew during the making of Trio 2. Disputes with record labels and constant scheduling conflicts delayed the project for more than a decade. By the time the album finally appeared in 1999, much of the warmth between them had faded. They never traded public insults, but fans could sense the distance. At award shows, they still posed together politely, yet rarely interacted beyond that. Dolly later summed it up with a diplomatic but pointed remark. "We loved each other's voices more than each other's ways of working. Their collaboration made music history, but behind the harmony, a quiet resentment lingered." Number 5. Miley Cyrus, the goddaughter who tested her patience. Dolly Parton has been Miley Cyrus's godmother, mentor, and guiding voice since the day Miley was born. "Miley's like blood to me," Dolly once said. But blood doesn't always guarantee peace. As Miley grew up, her image shifted dramatically from Disney's sweetheart to a bold, controversial pop star. Dolly often found herself balancing pride with concern. When Miley shocked the world with her provocative performance at the 2013 VMAs, tabloids immediately asked the same question: what does Dolly Parton think? Publicly, Dolly stood by her goddaughter. "She's just trying to find her way," she told Time. But in private, Dolly admitted she had serious conversations with Miley. Things, as she put it, only a godmother can say. But beneath Dolly's gentle humor was a deeper truth. Her values were rooted in tradition. While Miley Cyrus built her career on constant reinvention, the tension between those two worlds occasionally surfaced. In 2023, Miley even revealed that Dolly had lightly teased the title of her song "Used to Be," telling her, "I don't know if I like that title. You're still young." The comment sounded sweet, but many fans sensed the quiet message behind it. Dolly worried that her goddaughter might be rushing through life too fast, burning too bright too soon. Despite those differences, their bond never truly broke. On New Year's Eve 2023, Miley joined Dolly on stage to sing Jolene, and the affection between them was clear for everyone to see. Still, beneath every smile lingered the weight of two very different generations, two women connected by love, yet shaped by completely different eras. Number 6. Jeff Tweedy, the critic who mocked her songwriting. Not every wound in Dolly Parton's life came from friends or rivals. Sometimes they came from casual remarks that cut deeper than expected. In early 2000-2004, Wilco frontman Jeff Tweedy sparked controversy during an interview when he joked that since Dolly wrote Jolene and I Will Always Love You on the same day, she should have stopped after Jolene. The comment quickly spread online, with fans accusing him of disrespecting one of country music's greatest songwriters. For Dolly, those songs were never just hits. They were born from a painful moment in her life, written during the time she stepped out from Porter Wagoner's shadow and claimed her independence. Tweedy later insisted he meant no real harm and even admitted that the criticism was more about his own taste than her talent. But by then, the moment had already stirred debate. Many country music veterans rushed to defend Dolly, reminding the public that she has written thousands of songs and helped define the storytelling heart of American music. Dolly Parton, true to her nature, never responded publicly. She didn't argue, didn't post angry messages, and didn't try to defend herself. She simply stayed silent. For Dolly, that silence said more than any statement ever could. As she once joked, "I may look fake, but I'm real where it counts." And in the world of music, her success has always spoken louder than criticism. Some fans even pointed out that not long after the controversy, Wilco's next release quietly faded without much attention. Whether coincidence or not, Dolly didn't need revenge. Her legacy had already done the talking. Still, one thing is certain, she heard every word. That's the real story of Dolly Parton. Graceful in public, but strong beneath the smile. 6 names, 6 moments that left scars. Yet each wound eventually became another chapter in her music and her legend. But what about you? Which of these stories surprised you the most? Was it the king who tried to claim her song, the mentor who took her to court, or the voice that overshadowed her biggest hit? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy uncovering the hidden stories behind country music legends, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the truth behind the music.